Hello, everybody. Nerd in Texoma back with another episode. Yes, this is a jump on the bandwagon, I guess you would say, since everybody's talking about it, since it just recently came out this past Friday, actually, which is a bit of a turn from Thursday releases, which Paramount Plus has normally done for Star Trek things. This one came out on Friday, and we'll be talking about Section 31. I'm sure you've already seen the thumbnail. Yeah, got to get through it. Well, my honest opinion is I can definitely see how the made for TV streaming movie, whatever you want to call it, uh, was originally supposed to be the basis for an ongoing series. In my opinion, it definitely feels like it was a mini series or season long storyline just shoved into 90 minutes. It introduced so many new characters and kind of did a not so great job at giving them all their own personal backstory. Didn't really narrow down a time frame either because, well, I'm trying not to get into spoiler territory, but it introduced a younger Rachel Garrett, a lieutenant, before she became captain of the Enterprise C. Presuming that this is not just another Rachel Garrett within Starfleet, that this is, in fact, the Rachel Garrett who became captain of the Enterprise C. I mean, you're talking about a huge organization here spanning many, many worlds, and you're telling me that there's not people within that organization that have the same name? I mean, it's possible. If this is the same Rachel Garrett who becomes captain of the Enterprise C, given the fact that I believe in yesterday's Enterprise, Captain Picard says it has been 20 years since the Enterprise C was lost, and then the Enterprise D was commissioned. Enterprise D was commissioned in 2363, which would put the Enterprise C being lost about the 2340s. Maybe give or take 5 years, 2335 to 2340. I mean, 2335 to 2345. Blech. Had to do the math there for a second. And if we assume that Captain Garrett was approximately 50, give or take, about the time that she captained the Enterprise C, that would make her being born about the 2280s, maybe 2290s, somewhere in there, for for Rachel Garrett to be a lieutenant in Section 31. Would say probably she's about 20 to 25 ish, which would put the time frame right about the year 2300 to 2310, give or take. I mean, yes, time frame from discovery is that it was supposed to be 10 years before the original series. If I remember correctly, the original series took place around about 2260s. So that would put Discovery about the 2250s. Okay, so we have a alternate universe, mirror universe counterpart of Philippa Georgiou, say 2251, we'll just say, appears in our universe. Two years later, she disappears without a trace. Boom, gone. And then she reappears in the early 2300s, and Starfleet has been looking for her and tracking her for the past 50 years, only to find that she's outside of Starfleet and Federation territory, got her own space station, has become a thriving black market personality who runs her own nightclub. I mean, that's just a little little much to consider. Then, the Section 31 group who goes to find her because of this mysterious galaxy-threatening person and thing can find her just like that. For an illegal enterprise, if you would pardon the in-joke there, to be that widely known outside of Federation territory, that's not in Klingon territory, Romulan territory, Breen, out in uncharted space, which is very close to where everybody is. In my opinion, that's a little unbelievable, possibly believable. I mean, I don't know exactly how criminal empires work, so I don't know how easy it is to, hide something like that in plain sight. Maybe it's easier than I think. I don't know. Then some of the folks that are in Section 31 that find her and everything have some tech that is never mentioned again in Star Trek. Granted, I know it's, written all out of order. We're talking about something written in 2024, 25, fitting in with something that was written in 1960, 1990s. I'm trying to stay non-spoilery, but there's very easily transmissible tech, and it's never mentioned anywhere else, never hinted at anywhere else. I mean, yeah, it's outside of Federation territory, but I mean, it may sound like I'm being overly negative about this film. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a unique look at the darker side of the Trek universe, like we were treated to in Picard season 1. Personally, I thought out of the whole Picard series that season 1 and season 3 were the best. Could have done without season 2. Because it shows that the galaxy is a vast place. Just like in Picard, there's hidden things going on within the Federation, within Starfleet, that are not the greatest. It shows that in Section 31, there's a whole galaxy out there outside of Starfleet and the Federation's control and influence. And, it can be as wild, crazy, dangerous, or peaceful as it wants to be, basically. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I will most likely watch it again at some point. Probably when I can afford to get the Chinese bootleg Blu-ray whenever it comes out and whenever I can afford money. Does it fit with existing Star Trek themes? Yes and no. Does it deserve to be included in the Star Trek franchise? Yes and no. This is not the typical, oh, we're on the Enterprise, we're on the Discovery, we're on the Defiant, we're at Deep Space Nine. It's not a shipboard story. It's not grounded by those rules. I've heard a lot of people say it's a Guardians of the Galaxy in Star Trek form. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that it is, because it's not. I take it as a decent representation of life outside of the Federation's boundaries, outside of Starfleet's influence. And that's how I view it. You know, as I've said before on a couple of Facebook posts and stuff, yeah, if you like Discovery, if you like the stories of the Kelvin universe or the Narada incursion, as it's been called, you're probably going to like Section 31. You know, it's more action packed, it's more visual, I guess you would say, rather than thought provoking like Trek usually is. That being said, if you didn't like Discovery, if you didn't like the JJ reboot movies, you're probably not going to like this. Would someone be missing anything major if they decided not to watch this movie? You know, major influences in the Star Trek universe? Probably not. I saw nothing in the movie that really, like, oh my gosh, that explains why this happened. And no, I mean it's a standalone movie. So if it sounds interesting to you, yeah, sure, give it a watch. Go in with an open mind. If you didn't like Discovery, yeah, it's an easy skip. I'm just a bit of a Star Trek completionist, so I try and watch everything about Star Trek or Star Trek related and then try to form my own opinions if I like it or if I don't like it. You know, as a standalone movie, I enjoyed it. As a vision of what goes on in the greater galaxy, rather than just this little corner over here with the Federation and Starfleet and stuff, yeah, it was great. If you're expecting the standards Kirk Picard, you know, Janeway type of interactions, not on my ship, you know. No, it's not going to be that. If you enjoy the darker side of Star Trek, like we've seen in DS9 with some of the Section 31 episodes in there, yeah, it's not exactly that level, but it's close. It's pretty decent. Would I have rather had this as an ongoing series or as a limited time, you know, made for TV miniseries? Yeah, I think it would have been much better had it been given what we now know as a full season of 10 episodes to get in depth more on the story, learn more about the individual characters, you know, things like that. Yeah, it would have been better served being an actual TV streaming series, in my opinion. That being said, am I looking forward to Section 31 Squared or a follow up movie or series based on this movie? Again, I will watch it if it's another movie. If they actually decide to go back and reverse the original decision and make a series out of this, yeah, I think that'll be much better than just making another movie of it. I know this is divisive. I know this is, there's a lot of haters, there's a lot of lovers out there. Please, please, please keep it civil in the comments. You know, I don't want to see any comments of, oh, this is the worst horrible crap ever, blah, blah, blah. You know, be thoughtful in comments if you didn't like it. Be thoughtful in the comments if you did like it. No, there's a lot of petty name calling and all that kind of bullcrap going on in the world right now. We don't need to add to that in discussions of a Star Trek movie. Like I said, personally, I'm on the fence about it. I mean, it was a decent movie. Storyline was a little thin in some places, need to be fleshed out a bit more, in my opinion. Should have been a miniseries or a full TV series and not just crammed into a 90-minute movie. But let me know what your thoughts are on it. Like it, didn't like it, be civil. That's all I'm going to say. All right, y'all. Nerd and Texoma. See y'all for the next one. Bye.